How's everyone doing?
Good.
We're full of lunch. Lunch was great. Thanks, Dale, for kicking off our panel.
I warmed everyone up for you.
Yeah, it's great. And it has a bit of feedback, which is distracting, but I'll try. I'll try to ignore it. It's great because what Dale's offering at that organization with Growing Forests, there's some overlap to what we're doing. And I think we all can resonate with, there's so many great groups and programs happening for forests in Nova Scotia. It's hard to keep track of who does what and why. So this panel will hopefully provide a lot of clarity, and we can really distill down where we differentiate and where there's different options. Hopefully it becomes more clear and not more confusing. But I'm Jennika Hunsinger, Stewardship Forester with the Nova Scotia Working Woodlands Trust. We're a newer land trust in the province, and we have grown from the Medway Community Forest Co-op, which is down in Annapolis County. And if we can move forward, I'll just, oh, that's me. I was told to do this. Oh, now I went too far, didn't I? Anyways, I'll keep going.
There's a delayed mechanism of it.
Is it going to stay on this one? How exciting. We're all used to it, though, right? I'll just keep talking and slides will happen. Before I get diving into this organization, I think it's good to acknowledge that we are here today in NSWWT, in Mi'kmaq, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. I think Erin did a really good job of acknowledging that this morning too, and talking about the 7 generations in her family, but also the time on the land before that, and the history that we're inheriting. We like to note that this concept of private lands can be a little bit unnatural and confusing, where we all inherit the ecosystem services that are gained from the woodlands. So we like to encourage folks to think about the forest as a community asset and acknowledge that there are a lot of benefits for your family, but also to the community around you. So we'll move forward. Our role is a little bit different from what Dale has presented, but it comes from a very similar concern around succession, and especially what can happen when forest lands change hands, and that long-term stewardship isn't always guaranteed. So we put up these questions to get folks thinking about their stewardship legacy and what may happen. So I think Dale already set us up pretty good here, so I'll just keep moving ahead. Sorry about the delay. So the Nova Scotia Working Woodlands Trust is a partnership with woodland stewards and conservation organizations. And it was developed to fill an important niche in private land stewardship. And our vision is a healthy, resilient forested landscape across Nova Scotia through a network of land stewards with a shared commitment for long-term stewardship. So we recognize that stewardship means something different to everybody, and for some folks that may be doing a lot of tending and restoration, picking away from firewood, or protecting the old growth hemlock ravine. Whatever that is to you, our job is to ensure that your values and the work that you've done on the woods is maintained through time for your children who may inherit that stewardship legacy or the next owners. So what we do is work with the current landowners to develop a working forest community easement. Maybe I've gone one too far. This working forest community easement is a legally binding document that's signed between the current owners and the Nova Scotia Working Woodlands Trust. And this document ties an FSC certified forest management plan to the easement, or to the deed itself, so that the next owners, whether that be family or kids who inherit, or nieces or nephews, or if it's sold on the open market, the next owners are inheriting your management plan and this easement, which outlines some of your history, some of your values and your goals for the land. So in a similar way in which Dale presented his option, looking for folks who are interested in selling or are selling the land for fair market. This option is to maintain ownership and to ensure that the next owners have more support to uphold your management plan and that the property is protected from clear cutting, deforestation, can't be subdivided. So there's some conditions on how the forest is managed going forward. So easements are tied to the deed and they exist in perpetuity. And our team supports that management planning as well as annual monitoring. And we find our role can be really helpful for when the kids or the next generation and the next owners take place, as we can help translate and pass on information and really, take their hands. Because for some folks who have been away from the forest for so long, if they've moved away or live in the city, it can be pretty daunting to suddenly inherit a couple hundred acres. So our job is to make that a bit more seamless and be supportive for the new owners. Amazing. So it's wonderful. Jamie is presenting after me for the Nova Scotia Nature Trust, and we always like to differentiate where those options exist. So before we became a land trust in the province 3 or 4 years ago, there was conservation easements already held in our province with the Nature Trust, with the Nature Conservancy, Ducks Unlimited. They do really great work that's really conservation focused. So that's all under what is called the Conservation Easements Act. And it restricts commercial activity. There's no homes and agriculture. It would be subdivided out. It's really about preserving natural features and special places, species at risk. Where we have this new area, the Community Easements Act, it has a few different interests, and one of which is promoting and preserving working forests. So that's where we get this bit of a balance, and we're able to integrate sustainable forestry practices, cutting our firewood, doing that tending and silviculture, as well as an easement can retain, I feel like this is sliding around.
I think you need to put it on your head, it's moving too much.
Too much hair. Sorry, I washed it yesterday. That was my mistake.
You should never wash your hair.
You shouldn't wash your hair. The ticks, the mosquitoes. Okay, can we hear me if I look like this? Do I look like a bug now? It's good, okay. I feel like Britney Spears up here. So, what I was saying is in the easement, you can still have your house or your homestead, as well as have agricultural land. So it doesn't need to be subdivided out. So our intention of having this working forest community easement is to remove barriers to preserve the woodlands. So being able to keep your home and your woodlands all intact. So we'll move forward. Amazing. So there's many benefits to having an easement. Our staff will provide an FSC certified forest management plan that's tailored to your needs and interests. As well, it would be updated on a 10-year renewal cycle. And we ensure that you have trusted service providers for any of your contracting, and we're all a part of the Family Forest Network and connect you to the right people in the right place, and ensure that any restoration or harvesting work is with trusted folks. As we are a registered nonprofit and soon to be charity, pending, we have an opportunity to access different grant programs. And I think someone mentioned earlier something about like payment for ecosystem services. There is the carbon offsets as well, which is a tool we're using to fund this life preservation of an easement. It costs a lot of money to maintain an easement, so we too are accessing carbon offsets. But there's an opportunity to look into credits for biodiversity, for recreation. There's a few different programs where we're hoping to provide some incentives back to landowners for doing good work. Amazing. So the next slide, when it goes, is all about easement zoning. So I described this balance. The red highlights the residential or agricultural zone. Then the yellow is our working forest zone, which is tied to our management plan. And green is our conservation zones. So this is an example of an easement. And This slide is really meant to show you that an easement is developed is not a one-size-fits-all. Really? That's crazy. They'll give me more time, no? I'll fly that.
Two.
Thanks. An easement is not a one-size-fits-all. It's modified for your needs. So some of our easements are all conservation zones, some are just working forests, some are a balance of both. Sometimes they have residential zones, sometimes they don't. So our job is to just work with your interest in what you have on the land and how you want it to be preserved. We might have to fly through. Let's skip some slides. Let's get to the good stuff. Dale talked about carbon. We're doing a carbon project as well. It's an improved forest management project. Maybe we'll save that for questions. Dale can take this. That would be great. I was just going to flip to the end where we have a map. We have like a... It's funny to look at two screens at once. Do I look like a tech whiz? Maybe just go to the map. Slide 16, perhaps. So we've been around for 3 or 4 years, slowly growing a carbon pool. Unfortunately, it's not so easy to access carbon offsets because you need a certain scale. So similarly, Dale's growing a land area, and so are we, but with a partnership with private landowners. So our goal is to reach about 4,000 acres across the province to launch this carbon aggregation. So we're doing that this summer. And signing a number of easements on. This is where we're working right now. We also have a focus with some federal and provincial funding to save old growth hemlock. So some of these dots up here, the pink ones, are hemlock properties. So they're a bit smaller, but with really special old growth hemlock forests that have been treated. And yeah, we're across the province. Our office is in Caledonia, but we work across the province. And happy to take questions. I feel I'll wrap it here and pass it off to Jamie.